we need to do that for hours again, and you have the feeling that it is not clean.
This is not going to stop now. This is a revolution, a big revolution, and it will never stop. It will grow each day. It will grow. Good to see you, man. Each day it will grow.
Hello, and thank you for joining us in remembrance of the plastic whale. My name is SYNNOVE, and I am the fylkessekretær or regional leader of Naturvernforbundet Hordaland, which is part of the global network Friends of the Earth. And I'm also board member of the Plastic Whale Heritage Alliance. Today marks 4 years since the death of the plastic whale, commemorated as Jarle Kval. He was found in Sotra outside of Bergen, and he died because his stomach was full of over 30 plastic bags. This opened our eyes to the severity of plastic pollution, and it started a global movement to clean our rivers, beaches, and oceans for plastic. Just 2 weeks after the whale's death, we formed the Plastic Whale Heritage Alliance that consists of over 20 local and global partners committed to combat plastic pollution. The University of Bergen was essential in discovering that the whale died from plastic pollution. They provided the facts and helped spread this message around the world. Today, the Plastic Whale Heritage Alliance and the University of Bergen are collaborating to make sure that Jarle Kval's message does not go unheard. Our ocean's health is at risk, and we must act now. I am joining you today from our studio here at the University Museum in Bergen, where the plastic whale is displayed along with the plastic bags that killed him. And we will hear from a group of activists and researchers who, since the plastic whale died, have committed to stopping plastic pollution. And we encourage our viewers at home to be asking questions in the chat. To answer your questions during the live broadcast, we have invited Christoph Nøver, who was actually the one who found the plastic bags in the whale, and Rune Gåse, who is also a board member in the Plastic Whale Heritage. First, here in the studio, we will be talking to MARTE HAAVE, Associate Professor and Senior Researcher at NORCE, Norwegian Research Center. MARTE is an ecotoxicologist and the leader of a new initiative called the North Atlantic Microplastic Center. Hi, MARTE, and thank you so much for joining us here today in remembrance of the plastic whale. And as you very well know, it was today 4 years ago since the plastic whale, or Jarle Kval, died in Sotra outside of Bergen after eating over 30 plastic bags. And we know that this is a continuing problem. Every day, every minute, a whole truckload of plastic ends up in our oceans around the world. And I know that you have been a lot out on the Norwegian coast yourself, and you have seen this. You have seen all the visible plastic, and you also researched the invisible plastic. And can you tell us a little bit about how serious and comprehensive this problem is?
Yes, like you said, along the Norwegian coastline, it's a very visible problem. We not only get the plastic that we release ourselves from local sources, but also long-range transported waste from Southern Europe and the North Sea, even from across the Atlantic, actually. And it accumulates here, blown on land, and it becomes microplastic eventually, and we think that it's also then leaving these sites, going back into the ecosystem and into the ocean. But moreover, there's an even higher amount of plastic than that truckload per second that is entering the land every year. It's a much higher volume on land, and that will eventually become microplastic and then can eventually also reach the oceans. We haven't really found one spot on Earth that is not yet touched by microplastics. It's on the deep ocean floor, it's in the Antarctic, it's in the Arctic, it's even on the pure snow, on the ice floes in the Arctic and on the high mountain tops. So microplastics is distributing everywhere with air and ocean, and this atmospheric deposition is happening everywhere. Really is a huge global problem.
And I know you do a lot of research on this, these tiny, small plastic particles called micro and nanoplastics. And we are just only beginning to understand what impact this can have on us and the environment. And can you tell us a little bit about what do we know about this kind of plastic? What have we learned in these 4 years that have passed since the plastic whale was found?
Yeah, there's been an enormous international effort to understand microplastics since then, and an enormous progress has been made. We early learned that a lot of animals eat plastic and have plastic pieces in their stomachs and intestines, and we also see that they excrete them. However, with the recent method developments, we can see that some of this plastic and the small microplastics are in fact entering the body and going into the tissues, so into muscle tissue, into liver. Even now, it's been actually found in human placentas. And when it's in muscle tissues, we start becoming concerned that we will be exposed as humans through eating normal food. So there is a concern that it's going to be increasing up the food chain. But we have not yet been able to determine whether or not it's accumulating and that there are higher levels in the top predators.
What are you concerned that we will find out about this as we look further into it?
Yeah, there are quite a number of challenges when it comes to seeing or finding the very small microplastic and nanoplastic. So there is a blind spot there. But if these particles are in high numbers and actually cause effects, then we really are in trouble. In high doses, given experimentally, we see that they cause inflammatory effects, for example, in blood cells, and that they can accumulate in the brain. But we don't know if that is also happening in nature yet. We are not only concerned with the particles themselves, but there are also a lot of chemicals associated with the plastic added to them or bound to them. And these chemicals, we now see, they are increasing in animals that are eating a lot of plastic. And we know that these chemicals can be hormone disrupting or plainly toxic.
That's very concerning. What's the most important thing we can do to reduce microplastics?
Well, microplastic usually comes from larger pieces of plastic. And if you take a piece of plastic like this, it literally turns into billions of pieces of microplastic. If we do the maths, 1 cube millimeter of plastic becomes 1 billion pieces of a micrometer in size, which is very small. So therefore, when they're that small, you have no chance of cleaning them up or removing them from the environment. So our best option is prevention by stopping the macroplastic from entering the environment.
Will we ever get rid of all this plastic, do you think?
Sadly, no. The microbes cannot eat it all or degrade it all for us. And there will forever be a trace of plastic, I think, all over the world and in the sediments and in places where degradation is extremely slow. So that will be the footprint of our age.
Thank you so much, MARTE, for joining us here today and for the important work that you do. And we are very looking forward to be following your continued research and to follow your new microplastic center.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about MARTE's research, you can go to Norse's webpage, which is norseresearch.no. The movement that the Plastic Whale Heritage instigated 4 years ago was not just locally rooted. The burden of plastic pollution is not on the shoulders of one community or nation alone. It is a global problem, and it requires every individual to step up against plastic use and litter. So no more animals or wildlife have to die because of our human litter. Friends and collaborators have joined this movement after hearing about Jarle Kval's death, and some of them even traveled to Norway to help clean our coastlines here as well as their own. We have several greetings from around the world that we would like to share with you today, so that you can see just how impactful Jarle Kval has been.
Hi, my name is FREDRIK MYHRE. I'm from WWF Norway, and I'm acting on the call from Jarle Kval to keep the ocean plastic free and healthy. This is our life support system, and we need it in order to stay alive. So please join us in the fight against plastic pollution. Please join us in trying to get a legally binding agreement against plastic waste in the UN system, and make sure that we have this ocean system healthy and intact for the future generations to come. See you later. Going in.
Hi everyone, it's Lily. I live in the Netherlands and I'm the founder of my initiative, Lilly's Plastic Pickup. And just now I received a call of action from my friends at Jarle Kval saying that plastic pollution is still a huge, ginormous problem. Even 4 years after a whale passed away after eating 30 plastic bags. And I am counting on you to never ever give up helping the earth just like me. And remember everyone, have a plastic-free day out there folks. Bye!
It's truly inspiring to see that the message from the plastic whale has been heard around the world and to see individuals take action. Next, we have two representatives from the University of Bergen. First, we will be speaking to TERJE LISLEVAND, a zoologist at the University Museum here in Bergen, and one of the researchers who discovered the plastic whale. And then we will be talking to AMUND. But first, we will start with you, TERJE. And if it wasn't for you, we most likely wouldn't even have known that this plastic whale died because of plastic. It was your initiative to take a closer look at this whale and to make sure to preserve it for the University Museum. What was it about this particular whale that caught your interest?
Well, you know, SYNNOVE, when a whale is stranding, then there is always a lot of media coverage. And this was no exception. I learned about the whale in the media, in the newspapers, the day it died. I went out to take a closer look at it the day after. And to make the story short, we found out that this was actually a new species for Norway, a mammal species that never had been recorded in the country before, as we knew. And that, of course, was a very interesting story for us at the University Museum. We wanted to tell the story about this new species and also collect, as you said, the skeleton of this whale.
And then when you dissected it, you found all this plastic in its stomach. What did you think when you saw all of those bags?
I think that everyone who was there were really shocked. That was probably the first impression that came out of this, a great shock. When we opened it, we saw a lot of plastic in different colors, and the whole stomach was just filled up with all this plastic, like a big ball. And it really made a huge impression on us. And for myself, I must say personally, I hadn't expected to find that. Although we know that this is not very uncommon for whales in the world. And, but I think that it's actually the first time in Norway that it has, at least that we have found a whale with that much plastic in the stomach.
What is it about this species of whale that makes it more prone to eat plastic than maybe other species?
The Cuvier beaked whale is a beaked whale. It's a group of 21 species that find their food down in the deep ocean. And when they dive down there, the Cuvier beaked whale actually has the record. It can be found down to almost 3,000 meters. And down there, it's total darkness, of course. So they find their food, or their prey organisms, which are mainly squid and octopus. They find that by echolocation. And I think that in this particular case, with the QVS beaked whale, they try to find their food, and the signal coming back to them from these plastic items in the sea is very similar to the normal prey, and that is why they eat it. And when they do, they just suck the food right in, and they don't taste it, and there's very little time to spit it out again. And that is probably the reason why this whale had so much plastic in its stomach.
Thank you so much, Terje. So we know that this whale had a tremendous amount of attention to the plastic problem around the world. But how has it impacted the academic world? Amund, you are also you're the Marine Director of University of Bergen, and you're also part of the Plastic Network at the university that is conducting marine research in line with the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. Is this research on plastic and pollution a new field or focus for the university since discovering this jarlekval?
No, not really. The work on pollution we have been doing for a very long time, and we have a kind of proud history of doing research on pollution. And in many ways, plastic is similar to some of those substances we have been working on, because the problems are the same. They are not degradable. So that's the same with the DDT, the PCBs, and plastic, not degradable. But with the whale, we really saw that also plastic is a much larger part of the problem than we thought. So yes, it has changed our work, but it happens with the same time as the sustainability goals were decided by United Nations. The university got special attention, and we were chosen as the United Nations Academic Impact University for working with SDG 14, which is taking care of the ocean. So that also made the plastic work more important, because it is definitely a part of pollution.
What do you think is the most important answers we need to find about plastic and the environment right now?
Of course, this is a very, very large field. Only the fact that there are more than 50 different types of plastic being produced makes us have to look into which plastics are most toxic, who are doing most harm when they are getting into the environment, because that's on the other side. We have to choose maybe to just produce those who are not so toxic. So we have to do good research. And of course, plastic is very difficult to analyze. It's very complicated because it's broken down very slowly, different sizes, and there are different additives, different forms. Some are long, some are short, some are round. So there's so much research which is really needed to be done on plastics.
And I know you care a lot about having people from different fields working together to find solutions. Why do you think that's so important, to have different kinds of expertise when we work with sustainability?
Of course, to work with plastic you can do it as a pure scientific field, but in this field we really need to get action to also try to solve the problem. And of course, then it's not enough with like poor biology science or poor chemistry science. We need to look into the society. What are the measures taken that really function for the society? And then we have to look at economy, we have to look at laws, we have to look at psychology. So there's so many fields. And very importantly, we have to look at medicine also, because we need to be sure that the seafood is not polluted in a way that it's toxic. So this is really a broad field.
We all have to do our part in this. And what is the University of Bergen as an institution doing to reduce your use of plastic and to your impact in plastic pollution?
Yeah, impact, that you say that the finding of TERJE was a really a good motivation for the whole world, in fact, because as I know that a scientist is happy when he gets 30 citation or 50 citation, that's really good. But this had 30,000 notifications. So this was, in that terms, a kind of success for mobilizing. But the university itself, in Bergen, we are, as you know, 18,000 students and 4,000 employees. It does matter what we are doing. And we have joined the smart plast project, Plast Smart, which is together with other businesses in Bergen, doing all the things a good company should do when it comes to procurement. What are we using? Further, what we have is we have the young students, and they are really keen on working with this. Also, because of we have this sustainability work going on, we have had sustainability pilots or people specially focused on this, and they have been also taking part of the campaigns around the coast, working to collect plastics. It's important, and it's also mobilizing. So we are doing what we can.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you both so much for joining us, and thank you so much for the important work you both do. We're also very lucky today to have with us two student activists from Rotthaugen skole, Anna BAKKE and INDREVAR. They have been working with NORSE, Bergen Harbour Authority, and Bergen Municipality on a port bin called Slurpen that collects plastic and other waste in Bergen Harbour, Vågen. Hello and welcome, Anna and Ingrid.
Hi, thank you.
Very great to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you and your school reacted when you first heard about this plastic whale?
When I first heard about the plastic whale, I was really shocked to see that a plastic whale had mistaken 30 plastic bags for being food. I think this also helped to spread awareness around the world and make school participate more in cleaning up beaches, educating, and just spreading awareness.
Very good. And your school has really done a lot. Can you tell us a little bit more about the project you have been working on with plastic pollution?
Yes, our school has been working with a project called the Slurp, which is a port bin placed in the water that collects litter from everywhere. And after the litter is collected, it is taken to a place where it is sorted, and it's categorized by what we found the most.
What was something you found a lot of in this slurpen?
We found a lot of Q-tips and long plastic straws.
And you have also done some other projects with plastic pollution. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, our school joined a project by Erasmus Plus that is called Kids Against Plastic Pollution, where together with Croatia, Romania, and Turkey, and Odda, we have traveled to each other's countries and talked about solutions and cleaned beaches. And we personally went to Turkey, and we got to meet the mayor and clean some beaches and learn what their problems was versus ours. And we saw that they had a big issue with baby wipes and throwing them in the toilet, compared to like in Norway we maybe have like a bigger problem with our coastline, that we get a lot of garbage from around the world.
So what do you think that the politicians need to do to solve this big problem with plastic?
I think they should really cut down the use of plastic and maybe forbid plastic bags and stuff that really harm the ocean.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for the important work that you and your school is doing. We're almost reaching the end of our program, but before we end, we are going to hear from Italy and Ireland, where we're going to see that two activists really have heard Jarle Kval's important message.
Hi, I'm ARIANNA, founder of Dress the Codes project. I live in Italy, and 3 years ago I replied to the message from Jarle Kval, and since then I have committed to help clean the environment. When I was there, I cried a lot. It was very painful, but it made me start the project Dress a Code, dedicating all my life to help save the planet. And since then, I'm visiting schools here in Italy to tell about the plastic whale's story to students. The plastic whale has definitely changed my life. Hope to see you soon in person. Ciao!
my name is Tessa Rafferty. Here in Ireland we have heard the message from Jarle Kvål. I'm a past member of In the Same Boat, so I've experienced firsthand the devastating effects of marine pollution. So it's definitely time we call for action and make a change. If we all work together, we can finally put plastic pollution in the past.
We have seen more awareness, engagement, and commitment since the plastic whale was discovered 4 years ago. But the problem of plastic pollution is global and immense. It affects every sector, every part of society, and all walks of life. We have to keep up this momentum and this attention to the problem. We have seen so many inspiring people working to combat plastic waste. Jarle Kvål was a powerful message that we need to notice, act, and change. It will take policy shifts, it will take corporate responsibility, it will take social engagement, but it will also take individual action. Together, we can ensure that our plastic waste doesn't kill more whales, plants, birds, or wildlife. What is the commitment? Like Lily said, if you see trash, pick it up. Every plastic piece that is in your hand instead of the ocean is a win. And if you are interested in cleaning coastlines and beaches, you can join the Plastic Whale Heritage newsletter, where we will let you know about future cleanups, among others our big spring cleanup and our conference that we are going to have this fall. Thank you for joining the University of Bergen and the Plastic Whale Heritage Alliance in commemoration of Jarle Kvål, the plastic whale. And now we have a final message for all of you from Kenneth BRUVIK, who is an activist and a documentary host.
Hello everybody. 4 years ago, the plastic whale hit us in our hearts. The plastic in the stomach was a symbol of how dangerous the plastic is to our ecosystem and to our environment. Thousands of people were cleaning up beaches, and it created a big engagement. And this engagement is very important. We need people around the whole world to clean up beaches. Every plastic bit you can remove from the beach will honor the whale. So everyone can help us. Let us never forget this whale and what he have done for us.